Good morning, everyone. I hope your Saturday is going well and you're having a good time. And thank you very much for joining me this morning or evening or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, for this Saturday stream, our regular stream schedule. I know I cheated a bit yesterday. I went online on a Friday evening because I was missing y'all and I wanted to do some work. Thank you all for joining in last night, for those who did, and for those who didn't, that's completely okay. I'm glad you're here today. That's what matters, which is super fun. So, how are you all doing today? How's the weather? How's life? Anything you're excited about getting into this morning that we should talk about? What I wanted to do today is going to be pretty busy, actually. How's it going, Jorgi? Good to see you. Good to have you on the stream today. We're going to have a pretty busy stream today, I think. I have like a long list of things I want to do, and that's kind of why I went online yesterday, because I wanted to make sure that we got some administrative stuff kind of covered that are not so much fun, I think, to watch. So we can focus more on coding today and other stuff. And you may have seen I've added tons of issues to the repo. So we definitely going to look at those today and see kind of what we can start with. But I do hope we can do some coding. I do hope we can do some cleanup in general, some testing, some thoughts and ideas of things you want to get done. So definitely throw things out there. And if it is the first stream you're joining, what we're going to do today is what we usually do on most of my streams right now, is we're building out an open source tool called mlops.net, which is geared towards kind of supporting the MLOps pipeline for machine learning models, but in .NET, specifically for ML.NET. So you want to build and manage and track the lifecycle. We will eventually want to deploy it, be able to deploy our models to production. And we kind of want to mimic a lot of things that MLflow does for us. But before we get started today, there's one thing that's important, and that is that it's June 6th. And that may not mean anything for you, but that's okay. But today is the Swedish National Day. And this is kind of transparent because of my green screen, but I do have my flag with me today. So June 6th is the Swedish National Day. We started celebrating that in 1983 in Sweden. We've never really been conquered, so it's not an Independence Day. It's more of a celebration of the country, so it's super fun. So we don't really celebrate it too much. It actually was made a holiday just like a few years ago, but now it's a holiday. I am in the US though, so I'm not in Sweden, but I will still celebrate it. And what I'll do is I'm gonna make some strawberry cake today, and with cream and other things, and I'm gonna enjoy that. So that's good. All right, I should stop talking now because you didn't join me to know more about the Swedish national holidays and those kind of things. I'm sure you joined me because you wanted to learn more about ML.NET and MLOps. So we're going to get into that if there's no questions on the chat so far. Cool. Switching here. So what I want to do today is a number of things here. Awesome, Jogi, that's amazing. 100 followers. Wow. You're killing it. That I'm not even close to. I'm not that interesting. I need to follow you myself and make sure I don't miss anything you're doing, so that's cool. Alright, so what we did yesterday here, last night, was that we kind of wrote up some thoughts and ideas on the client that we want to create here for consuming the MLOps library. So I do want to save this document down, and I want to put it in a repo to start with, so we can get that kind of squared away. To walk you through this as well, if you weren't part of the stream last night, is that the idea here right now is building an SDK to upload artifacts and metrics and things to the repo, or to like blob storage or SQLite, to track things like accuracy, F1 scores, and the model itself. But eventually down the line, we of course want to be able to consume that. We want to be able to visualize all the experiments we have done for a machine learning model. We want to be able to visualize the runs and the metrics that goes along with them. And we may even want to automatically deploy our models through UI, to cluster in AKS or in Amazon, or something like that. There's tons of requirements out there that we eventually want to do, but the question is, how do we going to reach that state? So a thought that I have is that we're going to build a Blazor WASM app. I love the word WASM. It sits really nicely in the mouth. But we're going to build a WebAssembly app eventually. And since that's completely client-side, and everything we really want to do here is kind of call out Azure Storage containers or Azure Cosmos DB, we can just kind of build all that functionality and logic into our NuGet packages like mlops.net and Azure and so forth. And then the Blazor WASM app can consume those to make the calls to get all experiments and those things. And eventually down the line, we may also want to get a RESTful API that we can use for automation or various things, and we'll have the same kind of structure there. So that's kind of what we sketch out here. If you have any questions on this, definitely post those, and we'll try to get them sorted for you. But let's go ahead and save this first here to a folder. I'll just put it on the desktop for now. Desktop. So I want to do this as, what do you call this? mlops.net client architecture. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. Actually, what I don't want to do, well, let's put it there. I'm going to export this real quick here to something we can use. So we'll go ahead and export. Can I just do a picture here? Probably can save it as a picture, right? PNG file. We'll save it as a JPEG, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. And we'll go ahead and look at that real quick here to make sure that that looks good. Well, wherever that went. It's okay. That's fine. We can look at it later. I'm going to upload it anyway to our folder here. That's kind of what matters here. So let me move that real quick to the folder here. And actually, I found the image. Let's look at it. Make sure it looks good. That's going to have to do. I think that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it to our Git folder here so we can get it positioned and and create a docs folder. And we can keep building on that docs folder if we need to. So I'll go ahead and do a docs folder here. Docs. And I'll put that in there. And I will push this to a repo so that we have this available for us. Nice stuff. What was that, Yogi? Let's see. All right. So we'll go ahead and change repo. We have created an image here. Oh, yeah, I'll send you a link one second here. Created general client architecture. And we'll push that up there. And I'll put the repo link in the chat for anyone who wants to contribute to it or review it. Okay. There you go. Have fun. So one thing we did do yesterday as well, that we actually uploaded these packages to NuGet.org. So we do have like an alpha version of these packages available for us. So if you want to download these and kind of use them yourself, you can do that already, which is really neat. It's definitely my first time uploading a package, so that should be really cool. All right, so we have the signed documentation up here. So if you refresh this here, we should have. Did I push that up or not? Oh, I probably put it in a branch. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Let me switch to master here real quick and do that again. I'm just gonna push it up here. Docs. Okay, let me find that real quick again. So who did we get on the stream today? Any regulars or any newcomers? Where are you all from? Do that. I have not got access to new GitHub UI now, Yogi. That's definitely a new thing for me. Okay. Let's push that up here. Alright, so now we should at least have that folder available for us. How's it going? Hoga Barmark, good to have you on the line. What's your first name? Dogs, perfect, look at that, nice. Mark, good to have you on the line, Mark. Did you join the Wednesday talk on IO Associates? Let's see. Alright, we got that done. So, okay, you missed it. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for joining. Alright, so we done that. So now we have done that. So one thing I want to show you guys before we get started with something else is that if we look at NuGet.org here, and if we, well, we can sign in, I guess. Let me do that on our screen here. I want to show you what we have available here. Dun, dun, dun. The music you listen to, by the way, is Music to Code by Carl Franklin, and the song is called Azure, which I think is fitting. Alright, so what we did yesterday is that we published 3 packages. So we have the general one for basic functionality, we have one for the Azure implementation, storage providers, and we have one for SQLite, which Daniel was contributing to just the other day here. So that's cool. So one thing we did when we did that is that we have a sample repo that we probably should move over soon, but it tells us how we can use this in a GitHub action. So for example, we have a machine learning model here that we train each time. And let me show you that code real quick here. So we have our training of a model right here. Let's see, there it is. So what we do here is we do the same kind of thing we do from ML.net usually. We create an ML context, we load our data, we transform our data, we train our data, and eventually here we call fit. So we get a trained model and then we save it. So as part of that, we are going to use MLOps.net because that's kind of the whole point, right? We want to use it, we want some benefit from it. And what we're doing here, as you can see, is we are creating an MLOps manager. We call it Lifecycle Manager right now. Thank you for the follow, David. So we create that, and then we go ahead and create an experiment, and we'll create a run ID. And the whole point on experiments, so experiment is holding this review predictor, and the run ID is going to go ahead and measure the training set here. David, actually that's a good question. We hopefully get into that today. We haven't done it yet, but I played around with Blazor a bit yesterday evening, and it's really awesome. So I am excited to get to that at some point today or during next week. And we'll build a client for this so we can visualize things here. Have you tried it yourself? If not, you should definitely do it. I need to get more into it for sure, especially now when they have released this client-side thing. Yeah, I mean, it took me like 2 minutes to get something up and running yesterday through the CLI, which was like mind-blowing. And the project was like so light, so I do want us to look at that for sure. I think that the client API, the client side, the WASM implementation, is really the way to go. And the server side, I think, is going to not go away, but it's probably going to diminish a bit in importance. Alright. So what we see here is that for our run, which is each time we train this model, we're going to log metrics. So we're going to log the accuracy. So how good is the model? And eventually what we want to do here, and maybe we do it today, is upload the model to a storage container. And we also want to maybe measure that compared to something else and see if it's better or worse. But the cool thing here is, and let me move my flag away, is that we actually use libraries now straight from NuGet here, and we use that alpha version of our library right here, which is great. The issue with this though is that as we do that, our flow breaks. Our GitHub action flow to train our model breaks. And why is that? Well, if you look at that real quick here, when we do our training run, so when we actually run this review predictor, right? When we run this command line arguments thing here, it breaks. And it breaks because in it outside of bounds, okay? It could be many different things here, but I think what the issue is here is that we are not passing in the arguments we need here. So since we pushed this yesterday night, we also need to update our GitHub Actions workflow to actually provide a connection string as a connection argument here in our GitHub Actions. So before we dive into more of the MLOps code, I do want to clean this up to make sure that works. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to modify our workflow file here, and we also have to add a secret for the connection string here. So for example, if you look at the workflow file here, let's take a look at that. Thank you for the follow, JHDev. Glad to have you here. So you see here, when we do this GitHub action workflow for MLOps, we have a step here for running data tests to make sure our data we train a model on is also accurate. Then when we train the model here, we go ahead and restore our console application. We go ahead and run it. So right here, we need to pass in the connection strings to our Azure storage container so it would work. And then down here, we create a Docker image and we push that to Azure and stuff like that, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So let me duplicate this one so we can go back to it. The way to do that is to go to secrets in your GitHub repo. So if you want to expose something in GitHub workflow, like a GitHub action, but you don't want everyone to see it, you can create one of these secrets and you can reference the secret within your workflow, okay? So I'm going to create a secret here for my connection string, and for the whole world not to see it, I'm going to pull it over here. I'll do this one as well right now, and I will come back to this screen in just a minute and get this working. How many of you guys have used GitHub Actions so far? What are your experience? Do you like it? Do you still use Azure DevOps instead, and why is that? Azure Storage. Okay, add secrets. Okay, there we go. So you see here, I went ahead and added Azure Storage here to our secrets. So what I should be able to do now is I should be able to go back here and edit this one. And what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and add that as a command line argument for my run here. So I should be able to do, let's see how that syntax looks like. Here we go. So this is how you specify a secrets in your file, in your workflow YAML file that we all love, right? We will go ahead and do this here, and instead of Docker username, I will do Azure Storage, and these are environment variables on your, in this case, Ubuntu client that we are running it on. So Azure Storage. I think that was the name, right? Okay. So we'll commit this. For training. And is there anything, if there's anything you want to see or kind of pivot here as well, let me know, and we'll try to accommodate that. I have a list of things I want to try to get done today on this open source tool, but I'm also want to make sure you have a good experience and there's something for everyone here. So let's see if this runs here real quick here. Hopefully it does. So the data test checks things like the cardinality of the columns. So in our review predictor case here, what we have is positive or negative review, super simple, and we have like the reviews themselves to use. And obviously, if it's positive or not positive, we should only have two values. So the data test makes sure that the data we train the model on actually adheres to some of the restrictions we put on it. Because if we suddenly have like 1 to 10 instead, which is also reasonable for a review, that would probably break some of our transformations in a machine learning model, and something we don't want to do here. So we'll skip that. All right, train the model right now. Looks good. So hopefully this step should work right now and we shouldn't break anything. But we'll see. Hopefully that works. It's sweltering here in DC, by the way. You have like 32 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 95, 96 Fahrenheit. And it rained and a thunderstorm last night. So it is super humid outside. Not a weather I want to be outside in too much. It's kind of nice to be in a basement here. Alright, so this failed. Why did that fail? Okay. So we probably need to log into Azure as well before we can access this. That's interesting. That is interesting. I would expect that to work by itself because we're passing in a connection string here. And that seems not to have done the trick here. So for example, if I run this locally, that was not good. I'll have to change that later, I guess. It should just work by itself here. So for example, if I run this now, we should have the connection string just working by itself. Let's try that real quick. We may also want to skip doing this instead for something else here. So if I do this, we hopefully, okay. So it looks like it's working locally. So I am a bit surprised it doesn't work remotely. It should definitely have worked, and the fact that it didn't is surprising to me. Let's go back and look at that real quick for the connection string, and then if it doesn't work, we'll be fine. So I think we probably have an issue with the structure of this one. So let me go straight to Azure here real quick and get the connection string properly. And if that doesn't work, then we'll kind of abandon this and go into some coding for MLOps.net instead, which is also fun. Let's see, I want to go into my storage account. I want to fetch my connection strings here. I'm going to refresh this key because unfortunately it was exposed here during the stream. And that's okay. That things happens. And I'll put my secrets over here and change this up a bit. Add a new secret called Azure Storage. And I will make that the new connection string here. And hopefully that's going to make it work for us. And if not, then that's okay. I wonder if I need to have... we'll see. We'll see if this works. Alright, got that going. That's nice. So let's try to rerun this with that new setting and see if that works. How can I do that real quick? Can I just kick it off again? Or I need to commit something here. I thought I could just regenerate this one, but maybe not. Alright, I'll go ahead and do a simple commit here, just to get this working, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. We'll add something here to kick it off. Okay, commit changes. Good. Alright, let's see if that works. So what are you all drinking? Is it coffee time, tea time, beer time? Wherever you are in the world. It's definitely a second cup of coffee for me here. Get my morning started and off right here. Alright, that's running. If this doesn't work, I think we'll abandon this specific task right now for the purpose of something else instead here. But we'll see. Definitely have to try this a bit first. Cool. So that's running. Model train is going. And that should be good. Please work. Okay, so now it's building, that's fine. And the training part is kind of what we were worried about here. So let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, then that's okay. It doesn't work. Okay. Huh. So the funny part is that it's not empty, because if it was empty, we would have argument out of range exception. So it's definitely getting our things here. It's just by some reason that is not in a good format. So that's fine. I don't want to take all the time to get that working right now, but I definitely want to look at that later. I think I have an idea of what's wrong, but it shouldn't be the main focus of this stream here. So we'll skip that a bit. That's what happens sometimes. Alright, so one thing I do want to do though locally is I do want to make sure that things work when we push it to Azure. So something that AJ did here a few days ago is that he added support for storage of these models in our containers. So right now what we do in Azure is that we have table storage here. So in table storage, we store things like experiment, metric, and run. So if you look at our storage explorer, we can get all this information, you can fetch it. You see we have two experiments here for review predictor. We have a metric and a run table here. So each time you train a model, we'll update something here. That's good. But we also want to save artifacts. So we do want to store those once we train it. And I know AJ added support for that, so I do want to test that and see if that works. And if not, we'll open an issue and get that addressed later. So if you look at MLOps at the review predictor here, what we can do is we can add a method after saving this here for uploading it. So I would expect us to be able to do something like this: lifecycle manager, upload model sync, and we'll have to put the run ID here because the run ID is going to be the name of the blob, I think, or the blob artifact. So we should have that available, and then we have to have the file path. So I'm not sure if model zip is going to be good enough, because I think that this is actually going to require an absolute path, which is okay. But that's something we have to look at. So let me put a breakpoint here and see if there's an absolute path is requiring or not. And if not, then that's okay too. And we'll fetch that from our binaries in that case, in our execution place, I guess. Okay. So that's running. The model is being trained. Hopefully that will kick off properly. Ba-dum-bum. So the machine learning model is being trained right now. We'll see if this works. Should have I guess it's elevator music already. We listen to Carl Franklin's Music to Code By. I almost feel like having something else there as well. Alright. Did anyone on the stream today join into the virtual ML.net conference? Or have you gotten your shirts already for I Love ML.net? If not, you should definitely see John Wood on Twitter, and you will get that in no time from him. Okay. Huh. Oh, sorry about that. I need to update my connection string here. Let me do that real quick. I have it in my launch setting, so that's why I'm moving it over here. Okay. Access keys. So what you do when you want these things, you go into your storage account and you get your connection strings and access keys straight from there. And that's you can put it in your launch settings as a command prompt here. So that's git ignored for this solution, and that's something to think of as well. Okay. Okay. I'm just making sure this formatting looks good here. I think that looks good. Let me double check. Ah, okay, I see. Alright, that's good. Let's come back here and do this again. And hopefully this will work this time. Okay, let's go through this real quick to see here. That should create an experiment. Okay, good. So now it's working. So let it run and log some metrics here and just get it working. So perfect. So now it's logging metrics. So I would expect this to fail now, but we'll see. So that's saving the model locally. And now hopefully it's gonna upload it, but I don't think so. I think it's gonna explode on a relative path. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so that worked, maybe. Let's see if let's see how what Azure thinks about this. Let me get up here. So if it worked, we should have gotten something in our blob container here. So blob containers, model repository. Wow, okay. That's pretty awesome. Good job, AJ. So what are we looking at here? Well, we're getting our model repository, and that's important because we do want to store our artifacts when we actually train machine learning models. So right now we have machine learning models stored here, and the GUID here should match the run that I just did. So the row key is going to be run, and this is the one we just ran. It should be on the 6th of June. And because we have different time zones here, it's a little bit messed up. But it makes sense that it was 2:31 here for this run. So that's awesome. Wow, okay. AJ, thumbs up. You did an awesome job on this. If you're watching this later, I know you're probably in bed right now. It's New Zealand time. But if you see this later, really good job. Perfect. Happy with this. Alright, so I'm going to take that off my list of things I want to do here today. Test the blob storage. Great. So let's go back to repo now and look at other things we want to do here. Let's go back and write some code for MLOps.net. So we have a long list of things we can do here. The one I wanted to start off with is making sure we have more native experience working with MLOps.net and ML.net. And to do that, we want to log metrics from like a binary classifier to start off with. Let's see, where is that one? Binary classifier. Yeah, it's actually the first issue here a while back. So what do we want to do? Well, we want the ability to pass in evaluation metrics from binary classifier, and we want to log all the values in that automatically. So what do I mean with that? Well, if you look at the review predictor here, we want a nice, like a seamless experience. So right now when I log metrics, I just have to like define the run ID, the metric name, and the metric value. And if I do that for accuracy, that's all good. but what if I do that for F1 scores? What if I do that for something else? It easily becomes pretty tedious to do this, and I want to make sure that's not the case here. So I want more of a seamless experience doing this, and hopefully that's the case here. So what I'm thinking of is I want something like this. I want to be able to say ML lifecycle manager log metrics with this plural here, metric async, and I want to pass in run ID, and I want to pass in our metrics like this, and that should automatically log everything here. And right now that doesn't exist, of course, but it's something I want. And the metrics here, if you look at the metrics, that should be like a, in our case, it could be like a, well, I guess there's like a base class for this, binary classification metrics, and this one holds a lot of things on it, like I'm sure it holds like accuracy, positive precision, and all those things, F1 score. So I want to be able to pass that in, and I want to make it simple and easy for us. Does that make sense for everyone? I hope so. So to do that, let's go back into mlops.net here and get started. And we need an implementation to do this, and we're going to put that into our API here. So you can see that when you create this, we have an MLOps lifecycle manager available for us, and we have a metadata store, a model repository for our other things. And in this case, we want to be able to create something like this, public async task, and let's say we want something like log metrics async, right? And similarly to the log metric, and well, let's put them close to each other here so they come with each other here. Similar to this one that we see above, which is the existing one, right? We'll pass in run ID, and what we're going to pass in here is, so we could pass in like the default class of ml.net here, like binary something something evaluation metrics. But what happens if we want to pass in like a multi-classification thing or something else? Do we really want a dependency on ml.net for this specific thing? Do we really want to add new methods for each of these cases? I don't want to. I want to try to avoid that. So let's see if we can avoid that in some good way here. So I'm hoping what we can do is just a generic argument here instead. Make a generic method. So we'll do t, and what we'll say here is something like metrics, and we'll say where t is class or new, I think, right? Can we do that? Hopefully we can do that. Okay, and come on, be nice to me. Formatting, please. Okay, perfect. So that should be able to kind of create that for us and do something nicely here. Great. All right. So what do we want to do here? Let's think about this real quick here. So we want to be able to reuse this if possible in some way, and I guess this needs some parentheses. Good. So we want to get the type of this one because we want to. So the idea here is we want to loop over all the properties that we have, and for all the properties we have, we actually want to call the same method we already have here to log them in our metadata store. I think that would be the simplest thing here, to reuse existing functionality, but also to get some new things going here nicely. So let's see if we do that. And first of all, I just want to check one thing real quick here, and after that we'll get into this. That should be good. All right, perfect. Looks good. So that's all good. So what can we do here? Well, let's get the type first, because we're going to use reflection here in this case of this type. So I'm going to call metric type, and we'll do metrics get type, which is a reflection method here, And what we're going to do here is we want to get all the properties, right? All the properties of this object to be able to do that. But we don't want all the properties, because if we get all the properties, we're going to have some issues. What I think we want is all the properties with double as a return type, because that's going to make more sense in our scenario, I think. So let's do that for us instead here. So we'll get properties and type, get properties. Oh, sorry, metrics type, get properties, metrics type, metric. Let's make sure we keep plural, we can do that. Metrics type, like that. And we'll do get properties here, properties, I think, right? And we want to make sure we filter away anything that is not of a double type here. So we're let's see, what can that be? That would be let's see, property type. I think we have that right. Property type equals type of double. Is that okay, that looks like it's a valid thing to do. We will see shortly, I guess. So that should take us, get us all the metrics on this specific one. And then what we want to do here is we want to loop over all of those metrics, and we want to call the log metric async method here instead on this. Oh, we don't want a for loop, we want a for each loop. And we want to say metric properties, and in this loop here, what we're going to do is we're going to call this log metric async method, each of them. So we'll call this log metric async method, pass in the run ID, we're going to pass in the name of the metric, so metric, and I think there's a name here, and we're going to pass in the value, and we have to make sure it's a double, because I think we're going to return object type here. So it's going to be the metric and get value, I think. And oh yeah, that's true. So we probably need to pass in the metric here, I think, actually. Metrics type. So this is going to be a func, I think. So it's going to execute the metric get value on the metrics object that we're passing in. I think that is what's going to happen here. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone on the stream today. If not, then, you know, definitely speak up and let me know if there's a better way of doing this. And I'm going to start adding summary comments on these as well. I think AJ did a good job doing that. I'm generally not a big favor of comments because they usually get obsolete real quick. But I do want to make sure that it's obvious for anyone using this library what each of these methods do. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say log all metrics logs all metrics of type double on provided inputs. Type of evaluation metric, run ID. Yeah, that's fine. It could be run ID. That's obvious, I think. That should be good. All right, so we've done that. So what we can do here is probably think if we want any more security measures here to make sure this is accurate and working. We definitely want to call this ensure storage provider configured first to make sure that we're not well, actually that's going to be called in this log metric async here, so we don't need to do it here because when we actually store it, that's where it is. But we'll go ahead and add a summary comment for this one as well. Log given metric. Okay. And anything else we want to do here? I don't think so. I think that's a good start for us right here and right now. Nice. So before we do this, one thing we want to do is try this, and we can try this locally and make sure this works. So we can go ahead and build this, and then probably want to consume this locally. I'm trying to think of the best way of doing this right now. Well, you know what, let's just try to build this. Let's create a new version here. And we'll have to do this, I think eventually what I want to do is go ahead and do this automatically in the cloud. But for now, we'll just go ahead and just do it here. So we'll put this as alpha 1. We have to definitely get this working in a CD pipeline, because it's not going to work otherwise. Okay. Oh, this coffee is cold now. Okay. So what we can do then is we can go into where this is built and copy this over to my local NuGet repository, so we can use it in our specific scenario here. So I'll go into my, I think it's release, yep, and I'll copy that one over. And also what I want to do today is I want to write a script here to automate this, so we don't have to copy all these things over manually. And that's going to be the next task on my list after we're done with this testing here, just so you know. So we'll copy that over, alpha 1. We'll then get the other one here, because this is not going to be sustainable. We definitely need to automate this and script it. Okay, alpha 1. Copy that here. And the SQLite. Okay. Good stuff. So we have all those locally, that's good. And what we can do now is we can go into the solution here and we can start to change what we are wanting to have here. So I think my local repository should pick this up by itself, so I'm just going to change that real quick and build this. And while this is building, I just want to do one thing real quick here. You know, thank you all for joining in as well to this stream today. Having a lot of fun with you, getting some stuff done, you know, it's important. We'll see. Okay, 1 second. Get this going. So that didn't work necessarily. Let's look at why that's the case. That's something interesting for sure, because we want that to work properly. Okay. Alright, so let's look at that a bit. Why did that not build properly? Okay, so actually that's good, because we actually using this method, so it's not properly working. So our generic type here is not correct. So let's see why that's the case here. A calibrated binary classification metric must be non-abstract type, public in order to use the parameter t in generic type. Okay, so what is the issue? Is it with this one probably? It's a sealed class, that's fine. Public class. So why is this not working by itself? It's because of one of my constraints, I think, but I'm not sure which one here. So is it because of... Let's look at that real quick here. Does it need to be... I don't think it needs to be new actually. We probably don't need that as a constraint. We can probably remove that. Get that working anyway. Okay, let's try that real quick again here. I'm going to bump this up one version because I don't want to spend time doing this otherwise. And yes, we have to automate this for sure. Okay. Perfect. Let's pull these packages again. Put that in here. Get the Azure package. Yeah, this can't continue. If this doesn't work, we're going to work on the script instead to get this automated in some kind of fashion. because we don't have time to do that. Okay. Good. Good. Perfect. So let's go back to the view predictor here and let's bump the version to alpha 2 and build, and hopefully that may do something for us useful. It doesn't, it may not, and it did not. Oh, it did. Good. So the new one was the issue. So that should by itself now log every metric in Azure. So let's go ahead and clean up Azure a bit, and then we'll go ahead and try this to see if we automatically log everything that we have. So what I'll do is I will just go ahead and remove these tables because they should be created by themselves to make sure we have fresh and nice setup here. Okay, nice. Sounds good. We'll then go ahead and run the review predictor locally to hopefully get this working. So what I'm hoping to see here, if this works, is both accuracy and all kinds of other scores being logged right here. And we're actually logging accuracy above, so maybe we'll have a conflict here. I'll try to actually go past that. Let's try to run it again. We had this issue before. We have like eventual consistency issues when we remove these tables. So sometimes you have to wait and run it again when you remove tables like that. Let's see if that's the case. Yep, seems like that was the case. Let's go straight down here. I like the song here from Carl Franklin. It's a good one. It has a nice jam to it. Alright, so we're gonna pull over this one because I don't want to run that one, but I do want to run this one. Let's see if it explodes or not. It did not explode. That is very promising. Alright, so we'll continue through here, and let's go and look now if we were able to store all the things in Azure. So if you look in Azure now, in tables here, and refresh this, we have our experiments, which is good. We have our metrics, and look at that. That is super nice. So we automatically, through reflection now, went through each of these things here, and we logged them. So you can see here now that we have the accuracy logged, and error and precision call, entropy, all those things here. And the only thing I'm concerned about here is the row key here, because I don't think I would expect that to be my row key. Well, actually that is probably the row key. That's fine. That is not a bad thing. No, I think that's okay. I think that's how we chose to do it. Let me double check that real quick here in Azure. So in our storage provider here, in our metadata store, when we create, actually let's look at entities, that's where it is, I think. Metric, we decided that our row key is going to be the metric name. Okay, that is perfect. Kind of a little redundant, but nothing too bad here. Alright, so that is actually super nice. Do we have a value as well, or is that... Okay, value is right here. So everything is stored properly, and that's going to be super useful for us in the future. We don't need to double down on things here. So what I'm going to do is open a PR of this change, and that's going to solve two issues actually, because I have one issue for a multi-classification scenario, and with this change we don't need to do anything. So I'll go ahead and open up my GitHub desktop here, and we can actually skip these product file changes because that doesn't really matter, but we do want to commit this one right here. We'll say a do branch first. Issue, I think number 3, add ability to log all metrics. Create branch. Let's bring my changes over here to get that working. Perfect. And that generic method to log all metrics. We'll push that and open a PR for this change to get that working. hopefully that's a good thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and open a PR for this change and get that reviewed and merged. We'll go and say that we want to do that for this one. And log all evaluation metrics, I think. We have this PR template that we created yesterday, which is really good. So that allows us to enter some information here and get some of these things resolved. So that's nice. So what we'll do here is we'll add the issues it does resolve. And I do think we have two. Let me duplicate this one and go into issues. We can leave it. So it's going to resolve issue number 2. So I actually have the wrong name on this branch, but that's okay. So issue number 2. We'll do that by saying fixes, issue 2, fixes, and we'll look at the multi-classification scenario here. That's issue number 24. And that's good. And what we'll say here is we'll do added a generic method to store evaluation metrics from ml.net here. And this can be from anything, honestly, but obviously we are targeting ml.net, so that's kind of what we're going to do here. This is usable. This should be usable for all evaluation metrics and automatically tracks all values of type double. Looks good. What do you all think on the stream today? Is that good? Anything we should change here or do differently? Hopefully that's okay with you guys. We're going to go ahead and wait for this PR to build here, but overall it looks good, I think. So we have a CI/CD pipeline for this, which we're going to extend at some point, but for now that's good. This change in itself is pretty simple, but it's very useful. So we are logging all the metrics generically by just looping all the properties through reflection. And like that, we don't need to worry about this. The really cool thing about this change, I think, is that this is going to work both for Azure and for the SQLite provider without much change. It's going to loop through the generic interface and just do it. So very simple change that works for both environments. I'm really happy about this change. Okay, it passed all my checks. And right now we don't have any other contributors. Well, I do have contributors, but no one's set up for the project, which I should do later. But that's mean that I'm going to just merge this and use my admin privileges to do that. All right, and that should give us 2 closed issues here. So we went from 21 to 19, and we have solved that. Nice. All right. So let me take that off my list of things I want to do today. All right. So one thing we should dive into as well here is the fact that when I wanted to test this locally, I had to build my new packages and then I had to copy them over to my local repository, and that is tedious. It's like at least 6 clicks or copy paste whatever to get this working, and the more and more I do this, the longer it's going to take to do this. So I don't like this. So let's go ahead and create a script instead, a PowerShell script, just for now, that copies everything, all the packages from my various projects and put them into my folder. So I have a local repository right here, right? And I want to copy things over here so that when I build things in my binaries here, it kind of works by itself. So that should be pretty straightforward, but it's going to be super useful. So I may have to Google some stuff for PowerShell here, but I think it's worth it. But let's go ahead and look at what we want to do here. Start off by opening a PowerShell command line, I guess, or something to build this in. And let's pull that over to this screen here to do something here. So what I want to do is I want to put this PowerShell script into like a scripts folder in my repo, so that anyone can run it and they can change their commands and whatever they want to do here. So I think what I want to do here is I do want to define like 2 variables, like the source that I want to copy it and my destination. The simplest thing is just define destination first. So we'll do this variable here, destination, And what we're gonna say is, for now, at least for myself, it's going to be to NuGet here. Write that. And in just a bit, I think we also need to find a source here. And we'll just leave it empty for now, because that's going to be using a little bit of recursive to get there. And then what we eventually want to do here is we want to execute a command to copy all my items from that folder. So we'll do copy item, and we'll make sure we do force, because I do want to overwrite anything existing NuGet packages in that one, in case I just don't want to change my build package number or alike. And I want to recurse everything. So I'm going to put this script into the scripts folder, and I want to recursively go down folder structures, I think, to fetch the NuGet packages of my liking. So that's probably going to be needed. And I want it to tell me what's going on, and then I want to say that from this source, please copy everything into my, I think there's a command here called destination, and something like that. So I think that's in general what I want to do. The complicated part is going to be how do we find a source, and how do we drill down into those subfolders to get those packages. So we're going to copy them over to my local repo here. But let's go ahead and save this in a scripts folder first. So we have it open, and then we'll go ahead and open this up here. I'll go into my Git, I'll go into, let's see, where's my repo, mlops.net. There it is. And what I want to do is create a new folder called scripts, so you can also use it if you want to. Oh, I already have a folder. Let's delete this one, I think it's an old one. Let's create a new one here called scripts. And we will call this copy local NuGet. Does that work? Let's go ahead and close this and open that up instead, so we make sure that we run it in the right place in case something breaks here. So go ahead and go to the scripts folder here, and go ahead and edit this one and open it up. So where are you all from, guys, on the stream today? How's your Saturday doing? Is it warm, humid? Tell me how your day is. Okay. And if you want to use the chat, you can just hit the follow button, and that will enable chat for you if you are not following yet. Okay, so Romania. All right. How's it going, Dan? How's your streaming going? I know you're an avid streamer and staying busy, and I actually tuned into your stream yesterday a bit. You were doing quite a few hours on your, I think, workshop, right? It's impressive. Finding the time to do that. Okay. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Frax291. Where are you from, Frax? Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to figure out the source. So you see here we have this script in the scripts folder right here. Norway. Oh, nice. Abakan. What's your first name, Abakan? Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad that we have met, Frax. Remind me next time I meet you that you were on my stream. That's awesome. Alright. Norway is great. I really miss Scandinavia, especially now when you're stuck in a quarantine like this. But I'm hoping to go back to Scandinavia sometimes this fall, I guess. Next time. We'll see how it goes. Whereabouts in Norway are you, Abakan? Håkan. Great. Håkan. I'm glad. It was a while ago since I speak Swedish or Norwegian. My wife is American, so we speak English all the time. I rarely get to use it, but today, as you may know, is the Swedish National Day, Håkan. So I'm celebrating with strawberry cake later today, and I have the flag up on my house, so I can annoy all my neighbors. I have an Icelandic neighbor, actually, so he may notice the flag and comment on it. Alright. Perfect. So we want to go up one folder, and then we want to dive down into all of these here. And we want to do it recursively. So we want to go into mls.net and a bin folder. and release folder, and we want to copy all these NuGet packages over to my NuGet folder right here. So the PowerShell script to do that needs to like go up one path, and then it needs to go down. Thank you, Okan. It needs to go down to these subfolders for us to do this locally. So that shouldn't be too complicated, but paths are always complicated in this. So yeah, it's the classic National Day thing, I know, love it. So we need to go up one folder, and then we need to go down folders here. And the really cool thing with PowerShell, I think, is that you get this IntelliSense here, at least, that helps you on the way here. So you can see that we can have these, on this level right now, we can drill down to these folders. I don't want to hard code these folders, because obviously we'll add more packages, and we don't want to just do this again. So I will just kind of say, generically, can you please just go down to any folder from the structure? Can you go down to one more folder? Because we're going to go to the bin folders here. And then I think it's one more folder to go into release folder. And I think, yeah, and I think then we are in a NuGet package folder here. So then we want to copy anything with a new PKJ ending here. So we'll use a wildcard here to copy all those folders over here. That's nice. So this should in theory work. So let's try. I'm going to make sure we see that it's empty right here. So right now the package we're going to copy it over to is empty. So we go ahead and execute this one, and hopefully it's going to copy it over. And it sure looks like it worked. Nice. Simple script, I know, and maybe not that useful, but it's very useful for me personally, because right now we don't need to copy the manual over anymore. We can just use this. So I'm going to open a PR for this so everyone can use it, and I may have to open an issue because I don't think I have an issue open for this yet. Script. Okay, actually we have it here. So issue 36. So let's go ahead and open something for this. New branch. We'll do issue 36 script to copy to local NuGet source. We'll do that from the master branch, and we'll go ahead and bring my changes over. Perfect. So we see this simple script here. Great. Really great. Super simple, but super useful. We'll push this up to repository here. Yes, that's a great question, Frax, and that's something I definitely want to do. So we have actually an issue open for that here. So we are thinking about doing a CI/CD pipeline for NuGet packages eventually. So every time open a PR build, we'll increment the version number there instead, and just do like an alpha version and a build number. And then when we pull to the or build in the master branch, we'll do another NuGet package instead. So that's something we thought about yesterday, and we definitely want to do that. I guess the question is just how we're going to do that with making sure it's available for anyone to try. So I was thinking we can push all the PR packages to the GitHub NuGet repo and authenticate there to like get the alpha versions. And then automatically through like a release pipeline, we can push the master releases straight to NuGet.org when we want to do that. But that absolutely, we definitely want to do that. This is just for local testing and something that I wanted to do right now. But you're absolutely right. Alright, so we push that up. Get that going here, open a quick PR. This is going to be issue 36. Results 36. And we'll go ahead and add a description. Simple PowerShell script to copy all the packages from folders to local repo under C NuGet. Alright. So for those who joined the stream already, are you kind of aware of what we're trying to do in this stream here? Do you want a quick recap of what we're trying to do? What we're doing is, well, I'm going to give it to you anyway, even if you want it or not. What we're doing here is we're building an open source tool here, bit by bit. and I'll put the link in here in the chat. The tool is going to be for DevOps for machine learning, so MLOps, and it's for the specific library called ML.net for kind of managing the lifecycle of a model, making sure we track metrics, making sure we track the models we create, and integrate that really nicely into like a GitHub Actions workflow or something like that. So it's kind of like a source repo for machine learning models and some kind of auditability between how well it does and other things. So that's kind of the general idea behind this. If you want to contribute and be part of the team, definitely do so. We have issues open here, and I'm trying to put like up for grabs labels for things that are a good start or are available. And we already have a couple people contributing. We have Daniel from Holland, and we have AJ from New Zealand, and we have Luis here from the US. So I would love contributions. So if you want to do that, that's great. All right, so we have that done. So script is done and good. Perfect. And we have done that. Let's see what I want to do later. I think we can do is a way to add a badge for NuGet statuses here. Not sure if that's something you can do or not. I have actually never done that. So do we have that? We can do like a markdown thing here. So I want to do that real quick here, so we can actually add it to our README file to make it known that we do have something in NuGet.org, and if you want to use it, you can. So let's see, open a notepad here real quick to make sure we have the right path of things here. So this is the basic structure we want, right? And let's see, can we do... Let's see if you can find this package here. MLOps.net. Is it that simple? What is it called? Is it without dots? Let's go to NuGet.org here and see if you can find a status page for this. So yesterday we uploaded these packages to NuGet.org. Can we get like a status here? Let's see. Is it possible? MLOps.net. Okay, so here it's actually the real one here. Maybe we need to actually do this. That looks good in general. I'm just concerned about how to get the status badge here directly. Package. What is the missing link here? Packages. This is exactly what I want to create here. I want to create like a NuGet badge here, so we can see that real quick. But I don't see the markdown for that somewhere here. Let's see. Markdown example. What do you do when you need to find things? You Google it. Okay. Good stuff. So I feel like this should be kind of what I want to do here. I don't know why that doesn't work by itself. Maybe it's because it's an alpha version. Because it should just be mlops.net. And let's see. Oh, good. I wonder if this was that enough. If anyone on the stream today knows kind of how to do this, then definitely put that into the chat. That'd be awesome. I'm trying to think of the way we want to do this. What we can actually do is go to like an existing package which we know we have, and we can try that real quick here. Oh, okay, Frags, let me see that. So you feel like we can do that? How will we put that into the markdown? Or oh, nice, okay. So you think that's actually really nice, thank you. So we think we can do something like this, right? We could edit the readme file here. And you think we can just put that plain in here? We probably need to put that into some kind of link here. Add an image. Add image, markdown, source. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. I think anyone could be useful for MLOps. Like, the cool thing with this is that you don't need so much machine learning knowledge as you need software engineering knowledge and automation knowledge. And that's kind of why I work on it, because it's a good way to get started for me as well. I think software engineers in general can really kind of help here. So if you are interested, definitely join in. A lot of the issues available doesn't really need so much machine learning knowledge as it needs general software engineering knowledge. And so definitely let me know if there's an issue you want to start picking up and do. And by the way, Frax, this was awesome. Thank you for the suggestion here. This is going to be perfect. We'll do mlops.net icon. Let's do a preview here. Does this work? Nice. All right. So can we? The question I'm wondering here is, do we want to have multiple? Because we do have 3 packages here. So I will say we probably want something like a table here for this. Let's see how they do it for like the ml.net library. So that's a good start on how to do this. Because they should have like, yeah, okay. That's fine. Let's create a new thing here. We'll do mlops.net NuGet status. And that should look nice. Perfect. Thank you guys. So we'll do added NuGet package status badge. And that will at least give us a little bit more legitimacy. So much cooler, right? When you have a badge, you look like, oh wow, we're professionals here. Which is fine, because we are professionals. Just not on a Saturday morning, I guess. Awesome, okay. So we have that done. That's really nice. Let's keep looking at things we want to work on here today. We have the script done. We have added the generic method for a classifier. We played around with some other things here, and we added a docs folder. That's really nice. One thing I do probably want to do here eventually is move all the things to source folder, so we have a little easier way of doing this. And let's see, I don't want to do it right now. I think what I want to do right now is maybe I want to look at the Blazor part, honestly, of this app here. I wonder if that's something that makes sense to do right now. Before we do that, I want to look at the source folder actually, and then we'll go ahead and do that. So let's put this into one place real quick here. So the master branch, I can bring this over if you want to, that's okay. And we can skip all these things right now, discard them. Not the most fun thing to do, but it's something that we need to do. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I want to go and do this. I want to add a source folder here. So we don't, when we add more projects, we don't get bloated on the first page here. This is gonna be fun. That copied in there. Let's see, copy, move. Perfect. That's gonna create a nice little change, I'm sure, here, but that's okay. So, okay, that's all good. All the things we're removing are fine. Nice. Okay, so actually it's a super simple change because we have a really good GitHub ignore file here that is taking care of most of these things for us. Okay, so I'll do moved projects to source folder. open up a new branch for this to be good, so we can at least make it visual. So Dan, what are you working on right now on your stream here? What kind of project is on your mind? Okay, commit that one, and we're gonna push this up. Oh, nice. Okay, that's awesome. That would be super useful, I'm sure. Okay. Are you like, is that actually like something that they've asked you to do, or is it something you want to do and kind of show for them later? What's the basis of that project? Feel free to put a link to your stream as well in the chat if anyone else wants to join that stream later. That's completely okay with me. Nice. Alright, so we'll do not applicable here, that's fine. And we'll say moved projects to source folder for better structure. Okay, create a PR for that. We'll definitely have to update the GitHub Actions CI build here, because otherwise this is going to break. And I'm just gonna merge this right now because it's going to break it. And we'll look at the CI build real quick here, because it's looking at the wrong folder right now, and that's not going to be useful. Workflow file. As you can see here, we do like a restore straight on this one, but it probably needs to be in the source folder here for that to work. And the same thing with this one. And we'll say definition with source folder. Nice. Commit changes. And hopefully this build is going to work. So you see these two failed, and that's expected because we moved it to the source folder. But I'm expecting this one to pass at least. That would be nice. And we'll see in a bit. So if there's any Swedish people on the line today, happy National Day, you know, June 6th, big day, I guess. At least I'm one day a year I'm proud of being Swedish in the US, and that's on my National Day, so I get to celebrate that. Cool, look at that. It passed. That is awesome. So we got some cleanup done here. And it looks a bit nicer now because we don't have to worry about this. We have a NuGet thing here. We got our currently supported providers. We have our getting started and roadmap. And some guidelines for contributing if you want to jump in there. This is the story taking shape. I like it. So let's look at some issues here. What do we want to do next here? I know that AJ is looking at getting the best run, so we don't want to take that from him. That's a great issue for him to look at. We want to... Oh, already small. Okay, that's a nice one. I think we want to do that later. We won't add these for sure, but maybe not right now. So I think what I want to do... Oh, this is good ones. We should definitely do that. I think what I want to do here is look at the Blazor WebAssembly now and actually try to create like a simple project at least, so we can get somewhere with this, because we do need some structure to be able to add new issues and build this out. And I did put Blazor in my title, so it would be bad if I didn't do that, right? Alright, so then, just so you know, and everyone on the stream today, I have literally spent 5 minutes with Blazor in my life so far. I have gone to some presentations from like Carl Franklin on the topic, and some other folks as well that are very good at this. But I have not worked with it so much. It's going to be new to me, so bear that in mind. But it's going to be good. I need to get started. So I found a good getting started thing yesterday here, and I think we should do that. I've already took this down yesterday on the last stream, so we don't need to do that. But what we want to do here is create our first Blazor app here that is just going to be boilerplate, and then we can add new issues to it for this MLOps tool. So I think what we want to do is open a command line prompt here. I'll bring it here for you guys to see. Wow, cool. And I want to go into our GitHub repo so that we can spend some time doing it out there. So that would be CDC, not CDC, CD, well that's CDC. Okay, if you're in the US, you will understand what that is funny. And git, and we'll go into mlops.net here. That should be good. And let me just see if I can change the music real quick here. Do want something else. I think I want this. Let's see if that changed it, I'm not sure. Well, that's fine. We can live with that for now. Alright, so we're going to put it here. If we look at the folder structure in here, we have our source here. And why do I have... Okay, that's directories. Okay, good. And I guess within those I have those. So I want to go into source. And I think what I want to do in source here, let's look at the structure here. I want to put this. mlops.net, we have a source folder. So what I want to create here is a client, specific client here instead here. So we can use that. And that should be really useful and good. Ooh, I didn't move... before we do that, let's move the source in here, otherwise this is going to break. And that needs to be just pushed up. Let me push it up real quick here. And let me reopen this one. Make sure this builds. The API is not built already. That's actually the thing we're going to do. But what we're going to do instead here is... I can open up this real quick here as well. What we're going to do, in my thoughts at least, is going to put a simple WASM product here, and we're going to consume our NuGet packages in the WASM app, because it's going to be client-side completely. And from those packages we can directly call those methods to get like experiments and runs and things like that that are machine learning related or metrics, and display them. So instead of having an API, we're actually going to just use the client side to call out to our storage containers or whatever we need for this purpose. And this may have to be redone once we go down the line here, but it's a good start for now at least. So we'll do that. Okay, let me do this real quick. Push that up. Let me fetch the latest and do that again. And then I want to open the solution to make sure we didn't break anything here. Yep, this is going to break. Cancel. Close solution. Don't save anything. But go ahead and open a project. Oop, I don't want to create something. Let's make sure this builds. Okay. It's a good thought. Let me look at that a bit later. Let's make sure this... Oh, we're in the wrong folder, that's why. Thank you for the follow, Kochu. I'm glad to have you here. Where in the world are you currently located? Okay, that's good. So let's open that up. Okay, so let's make sure this builds, because it may not. Okay, that looks like it's building. That's good. Perfect. And I'm not sure why we have these folders here. Okay, it's because we built them before. Let's remove those. Perfect. Okay, hopefully now this is the final thing for the solution file here. Welcome. So what I'm working on is an open source tool called mlops.net, and we have a repo right here. And the tool itself, it's specifically for managing the lifecycle of machine learning models in .NET in C#. So right now there's not a good solution to manage like the metrics and how good a machine learning model is, or to store the model by itself anywhere else for like ML.NET or machine learning models. So we are building a tool for it so that we can use it. So that's what I'm doing right here. And you're more than welcome to contribute and join. I'll put the repo link in the chat here for anyone who wants to play around with later. Alright, so we got that done. So now what we want to do here is create a new solution. So let's look at what we can do here. Where do you go? So we can execute this command right here with a good name in this folder. And that should give us something, right? So what I was thinking we can do here is call this mlops.net.client to indicate this is a client that we want to do, and something like that instead. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. And that should create a new Blazor project that we can build on. And let's try it. Hopefully that will work. So it's going to run restore here. Get this working. Okay. Nice. Okay, so the next step we want to do here is probably run it, and then we can open it up later. So I think we can do cd into the client, and I think we can do run here maybe, hopefully, and just kind of look at what the boilerplate stuff is, I guess, for a Blazor app. And then we'll dive into the code and see if we can actually do something cool with it or not, which of course I want to do. Alright, so it's listening to port 5000 and 5001. So if we pull that up here, we should have a Blazor app. Okay, so cool. That looks like it's working and running locally. It's like the simple Blazor template, what you see in all presentations. And that's fun, but we also want to open this up. So let's open up a new solution and look at this one and look at the code. That's what we really care about here. So open a product or solution. We'll navigate to the specific one here. So the C drive. We'll go ahead and go to git mlops.net here. We'll go to my source and we'll go to client here. Nice. Open up this project. Come on. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. I'll get it right screen in just a bit here. Please bear with me. There we are. Alright, awesome. So this is like the simple Blazor app that we're going to use, and we can see here that it's like super simple. It has a program, I guess, where it starts to create a builder, an app, okay, and run a sync. We have some imports here, Razor file for simple imports. So I guess we can use that in the client here, so like HTTP client for backend fetching, those kind of stuff. And we have some simple pages here for like what we're looking at here. So I guess we have the fetch data page here. So if you go back to the app real quick here, we have the fetch data one here. So displaying a table. That'll be useful because we definitely want to do that later. And we can see here this is how they do it. And they probably use like a HTTP call here to get from JSON a sync here. And this is probably just going to be a simple file somewhere. I just don't know where this is, but probably not in the solution. And they display that. Nice. Okay. So we don't need all of this stuff for us, of course. We need something simple. Oh, okay. It's in the root here. Sample data. Nice. Sounds like you've used it a lot here, Dan. That's awesome. That is useful. So I want to go ahead and play around with this a bit here. And since you have some experience here as well, this is great that you're on the stream today. What I'm thinking here is I want to remove some of these pages here, and I want to add a simple one here for just like experiments for now. And we want to connect it to our storage container here to fetch things. And then we can do something else with it later, but for now we can do that at least. So I want to clean this up a little bit, so I don't need all this stuff here. But I guess we can keep it for now, and we can add a new navigation thing here until we know what we want and don't want here. So we can go ahead and add a navigation bar here. So we see that we have our navigation bar here, that's all good. We have the counter, and let's add a new one for now and remove the rest later. So what I want here is, I want to have experiments. There's a ref here. Let's call this experiments. And I guess they have different icons here. That's all good. We don't need to do that necessarily right now. Okay, so we add that. And that's all good. And I think we need to create a new page here. So let's copy paste this one, because I think this is going to be the one that has most in common. Experiments.razor. And we'll call this experiments. Experiments. So I guess then what you do here is the href here is going to go to the page here. So we probably want to do this, right? To make sure it goes to the right place. Okay, that's fine. Okay. We don't need this right now, I think. And so I think what we can do later is like a code behind thing instead, right? Instead of having it like in a Razor file. So that's something we want to think about. But I think for now we can probably be fine using this kind of inline Razor pages here. But we definitely want to look at that later. But what I want to do first here is I want to make sure we use our NuGet packages here. Okay, thank you. Wish it was a if it was a blog post, I think that would be good. But since it's YouTube, I guess we can look at YouTube right now real quick here as well. Okay. So what if I split this down into a partial class here? What would I do then? Would I go and just do like pages here? Or how would I structure this to the best extent here? What do you think is the best idea here? We can do that later, I guess. I think what I wanted to do first here. Okay, each feature, okay, the folder. So do you think I would have, let me think of that a bit later actually. Yeah, let's take it offline. I think that's a good idea. I want to look at the post and kind of look at that later. But I do want to make sure we install the NuGet packages here. So we can do that by going to mlops.net here and install this one. And we can install the Azure one here as well, so we connect to it. That's going to be something we need at least, regardless. And get the licenses going. Because I think what I want to do is just show an example of how we want to do this instead of doing something more complicated here. So, okay, so how do I... Okay, I can add a service here, that's good. So what I want to do here is I want to instantiate our ML Flow Lifecycle Manager here and add as a service, and I want to use that in my experiments page here to get experiments and just showcase that. And if that works, then we can look at more structures and other things later. But I want to get my hands dirty here. So this probably won't be the best way of doing it, but it's going to be a way of doing it. So what I want to do here is use Azure storage like this, and then I want to pass in the storage container info here. And let me think of how I want to do that. I guess we can do that here. Let's do that real quick. I want to add it as a command line argument here, but I'll put it over here for now when I do that, because that's going to be a secret. So let's see, I have it here, I think. Give me just a moment to get that properly set up. And if that works, then we should be good to go here. Gonna right click on this one, I think. Some really fun stuff here, honestly. I like that this is how it works. Debug. Okay. Maybe that works. I don't know, honestly. Let's store this as well here. Save. Okay. 1 second here until I make sure this is what I want. Okay. I think this is what I want, so I'm not gonna play around anymore. I'm gonna put it back in here. Alright. So I think what I should be able to do now is I should be able to have the connection string as my first argument here when I start the application, which of course is not going to be a sustainable thing. Actually, I should probably not do this. I should put them in the connections in app config. I'm not sure why I did that. Let's put it in my app config instead. Do we have that kind of thing here? Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. That's true. So everything's in the client, so I can't necessarily do that. So how would I add a connection string to something in then? That makes a lot of sense, honestly. So if, for example, if right now what I want is a connection string to my Azure storage. Smart, okay. So you think that probably makes the most sense is to do that. Okay, that's a really good thought. That kind of makes a lot of sense here. So we still need a wrapper API here to do these things in it. Okay, that's fine. I think that makes sense. So what you would do, I guess, is create a new. Yeah, we should probably talk about offline at some point. I need to think about this a bit, though. I need to think about how we want to do this. But I think that's the first, issue running into here is. We definitely can't have secured connection strings going in like that, so we probably need a REST API there at some point. I don't want to use Blazor server. I guess I could use that, but I think I don't want to. There must be some good way of storing the secrets in a client like this, but I need to make some research on this before, and I think I don't want to take your time doing that. So I think that's a good stopping point, honestly, for today, is to look at this a little bit myself and think about how this should be structured, and definitely review some documentation then that you sent here, and I guess gonna go from there, I think. But it's my first exposure to Blazor, so I definitely should read more up on it before I continue here. But thank you guys so much for your input, both Dan and Koreshu. This was great, very useful. I appreciate that so much. And for anyone else joining in the chat today and the stream, that's been a fun time. If you are following me, I'll be back on Tuesday. I may do a stream tomorrow, we'll see kind of how things go. But I'll definitely be back on Tuesday, and we'll continue doing this then. So thank you all for joining. Have a fantastic continue of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Alright, bye everyone.